Good day, brothers and sisters, and I'm so excited to see you here again because you are the reason why we're doing this show. But don't forget to click those subscribe and like buttons and share, for sure, share and bells and whistles, and go to our socials. We have a nice Telegram channel. Everything you hear on this show, go to our Telegram channel. It's somewhere link in the about section of our YouTube channel. And that's where we post all the news articles and links that we discuss here. So we're not making this stuff up. We're just discussing the things that are out there in the world, and we'll help you discern because we help ourselves to discern. Glenn, how you doing today? It's really hot outside. Does this make your blood boil? What's up, man?
Yeah, it's fantastic. What a day. And this is going to be one of those shows, big guy.
Glenn, when people say, it's not my fault, it's her fault, she ruined my life, what do you tell to them?
Oh, yeah, somebody put a gun to your head, right? And said, you had to take that one. Of all the choices you could have had in your life, you had to choose that one. And then you blame her for the results that you got from making your bad choice. Like it's her fault. Poor thing.
Glenn, let's get straight to the news. Brothers and sisters, we're going to discuss alien stuff, but not the way you think. Is real alien stuff or maybe some unreal alien stuff, but it's in the news all over. And, most of the time on the news, things that we discuss is war in Ukraine, some LGBTQ plus thing, right? I can't even pronounce it. There's way too many letters in that thing. And, economy, the debt ceiling and corruptions and all that stuff. But today we're going to focus on something different, more alien stuff. Glenn, did you see this video from this is the professor from Stanford.
Do you believe that extraterrestrial intelligence has visited planet Earth?
I think you can go a step further. It hasn't just visited, it's been here a long time, and it's still here. And it has basically, people talk about the wow signal, looking for extraterrestrial intelligence. The wow signal is that people see it on an almost regular basis.
If you had to assign a probability to that statement, that you believe extraterrestrial intelligence has visited this planet, what probability would you assign?
100%. The National Defense Appropriation Act, passed last year, signed by Biden in December. 30 pages.
Red flag.
Is the establishment of an unidentified aerial
Signed by
phenomenon
E.T.
office.
This guy is Dr. Gary Nolan, a professor of Stanford University Medical School who worked with CIA and allied U.S. personnel who developed medical issues after alleged contact with UFOs. So this guy is actually a researcher, but he's a virologist. He researches things like COVID. And so he would look into, like, let's say you wake up in the morning and say, Alex, I think I've been anal probed yesterday.
Yeah, not going to happen. Well, speaking about virologists, I too believe that there's extraterrestrials on the planet, because when you look at Dr. Fauci, he looked like he could have played the alien in the movie E.T. I mean, his agenda, or he identifies himself as a garden gnome.
What about, that's funny. Glenn, but what about Kamala Harris, the vice president? She sounds like an alien, and she looks like an alien. Check it out.
Is it just me, or what is this creature that doesn't breathe and has fish gills or something weird?
Shut down, our businesses are closed, our schools were robbed.
What's with her neck, Glenn? Is this a mask? Like those masks for the, is it her double? Is it unreal? Is it an alien for real with a human mask on? Is this facelift gone wrong?
Maybe it's one of the after effects of taking too much Ozempic and Wegovy, and you have the jowls sliding down.
But that looks awful. That looks awful.
Champ, if it looks like a fish and it smells like a fish, it's a fish.
Yeah, I don't doubt you. Okay, so what does this looks like? Tell me.
In 2 days, Guess what's gonna happen, bitch?
Describe that to our listeners, people that not necessarily watching this.
Yeah, champ, I don't know. This needs a rubber room.
Well,
to be
first of all,
safe.
we are on the alien subject, right? So that looked alien, first of all. And I'm not trying to make fun of this thing. I'm actually truly concerned. This is like, if we actually say, well, this is some kind of mental issue, will be deemed homophobic in some circles of society. Now, to be fair, it is a gay pride month starting June 1st. And a lot of people saying like, well...
I didn't know that, big guy.
Oh, now you do.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's what this green hair creature was celebrating. And it's really hard to tell because I don't know it pronouns or them pronouns. So I don't want to offend that thing. But we had the Yuri Bezmenov interview from 1984, and he's talking about this program on debasing America by through this neoliberal education and destroying the family and
neoliberal indoctrination.
Indoctrination. It's so far gone, and it did so well, and what we're experiencing now is a result of that, and it's trickling from up down, and we covered it in the last few episodes. Did you see that Disney doubling down on this whole transgender thing? Watch this video.
So my name's Nick. I'm one of Fairy Godmother's apprentices. I'm here to shop you around and make all your selections for the day.
So it's a brothers and sisters at the drag queen in the Disney princess store.
And people labeled DeSantis a dictator for wanting to get rid of that crap.
Well, I'm never bringing my daughter to Disney ever. Like this goes against everything. By the way, Disney, when Soviet Union fell apart, it was sort of reverse propaganda. Disney was the first Western outlet. They came in legally, and in the early 90s, we had all those Chip and Dales and DuckTales and what are other kids' cartoons on TV. And it's pretty upsetting to me because I kind of I was already sort of 11, 12 years old. So I guess I was still in the cartoon age. But it's, Disney is and was a big part of my life as a kid. So it's pretty upsetting to me personally to see this thing happening. But remember, we watched the show about 2 days ago. We did the show on walk credit score, and we explained how it trickles down. And it was a nice guy explaining it to us.
Which companies get the funding because they're high up in the that score for pushing an agenda.
It's called Corporate Equity Index, CEI. And you know where it's coming from, Glenn?
Well, it's got to be probably up to the World Economic Forum or somebody
Bingo.
who associates with that, and then it's accepted into their realm.
Yeah, well, I have a video to prove it. Let's watch this.
Biden met privately with those of us working behind the scenes, and he sat down with us and looked us in the eye, and he said, you companies can do what we government cannot.
Why don't you tell the audience about PGLE?
So this is Beth A. Brooke-Marciniak. Oh, she's a Martian. And she does look like an alien, doesn't she? She's a board director and a former global vice chair of public policy. What is that? Business for social responsibility.
Yeah, and she
19.
She sits there like Trudeau too. If you notice, there's a resemblance. Yeah, because he got trained by the World Economic Forum, by the way, Canada.
Well, he has to sit like that because he has to be gender neutral. That's what it is. Remember, he's the guy who's responsible in the globalist agenda to maintain, he's the spokesperson for LGBTQ plus to SLI plus XYZ agenda. And that's why he has to sit like that. Very, very good, Glenn.
The alphabet psycho soup.
Yeah,
what does it do? Why is it important? And we would love to have more companies join in.
But this story about Davos and the handful of us that found each other, so the PGLE, Partnership for Global...
How did they find each other, Glenn? Was it by accident? You just stumbled into each other. There was like, oh, let's just go for a walk. And like, oh, look at those nice people.
We've said it a long way since the beginning, champ, and we'll keep saying all this is engineered.
Yeah.
Okay, nothing by chance.
Oh, we just found each other.
LGBTI equality. This is a group that was formed in collaboration with the World Economic Forum after 5 or 6 years of working behind the scenes with senior leaders at just a handful of companies. This organization was founded in January of 2019. Can you believe that?
Oh my God! What else was found in 2019?
Ooh, the big sickness.
Yeah.
World Economic Forum just agreed to do it this January. So we have, they're in collaboration with them. We can use their channels of distribution, their brand. They're now in the mainstream.
What basically she's saying, what we've been saying all along, when we warn people, this whole plan gimmick thing was preparation for some kind of digital passport thing, which will include your medical records, which you need to obtain from your pharmaceutical companies, et cetera, et cetera. You need to pay for this, and it'll also be including things like your social score, which they're already implementing in countries like China. And I believe they were doing it in Ukraine as well. I believe Ukraine was one of the test pilot countries for that.
Poor Ukraine. They're getting hammered from all sides.
That's right.
On the main stage in Davos and into the mainstream of the programming at the World Economic Forum. It's founded by 7 companies.
Bud Light?
I'd like to name those companies.
Target? Bud Light?
No, it's probably a lot higher. It's probably like, give me financial companies.
BlackRock?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Are signing on more. We want more. We have 14 now. But what are we committed to do? We are committed to change the world for LGBTI inclusion around the world, not by competing.
They don't deny it. We're here to change the world.
They never do, champ. They say what they're going to do because they have to do it, and then
it's your
happens,
choice.
And then the people say, "Oh, it wasn't our fault." And they said, "Well, we told you what was going to happen. You didn't rebel against it. You accepted it." That's their way of getting themselves off the hook.
Well, that's how devil operates. He can't make you do things. He has to trick you into doing things. He's like, well, look, everybody else is doing it. You have to do it too. Okay, let's keep watching.
Competing with other LGBTI organizations, but by amplifying.
But what happened to SLTI, whatever other letters? Is she discriminative?
And lifting by using the platform of the World Economic Forum, both in Davos, but also regionally and around the world. Also working with the UN.
Okay.
Oh, so they have franchises everywhere.
What is the platform of World Economic Forum? Is Canada one of the platforms?
Well, they educated our indoctrinated leaders. That's Jagmeet Singh, Justin Trudeau, of course.
Yeah,
and Miss Freeland.
Well, Justin was not educated. He was raised in it, and he was compromised in it.
Trying to get these companies you have to have signed on to the UN standards in order to join the partnership.
How many?
Oh man, you have to start. So that's the thing that we discussed, the CEI index, corporate equity index, or join the standard. So companies like who you got to find out who owns the Bud Light and Target. So if it's BlackRock, for example, like you said, who owns the Bud Light and Target? Do we know? Who's the major shareholder? So whoever the major shareholder of those companies are the companies that she's describing as founders, the original 7 or the additional 7 or 14.
Could be Vanguard.
Whoever it is. So that's really what it is. That's what she's saying. You want to be part of this new global agenda? You gotta live up to our standards, and that's the standards that we're talking about.
How many companies have signed on to that now?
270. Our goal is to get many, many more, and then to work around the world, both not only in sharing best practices among the companies, but their strength in numbers. So with the platform of the World Economic Forum, the power of the UN, and then finally the strength in the companies working together, where when you combine the economies, the corporate economies of those 14 countries, we're bigger than a lot of countries.
And that's what everybody been saying. The countries, this is what you just said. This is not a democratic elected alien that's sitting here. She said, we created the system that works around any of your democracy and any of your constitution. We're here to tell you how to think, feel, and do. we're here to influence all of your ways of God. This is the Western democracy that they're protecting in Ukraine. That's literally, she just said that. We are a lot more powerful than most countries.
And around the world, not just in Ukraine.
Everywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. And we, the people, we don't stand for this. We don't elect you. We don't like you.
No, especially during the Stanley Cup. That's really important.
Is it?
Yeah, sports, you know, your YouTube, you're taking pictures of yourself and posting it all over the internet. That's the important stuff in the world.
By the way, I didn't realize how good this video was.
So tremendous power. In Davos a couple of years ago, Vice President Biden met privately with those of us working behind the scenes, and he sat down with us and looked us in the eye, and he said, you companies can do what we government cannot and will never do. You have to change the world on this issue.
Spoken from now the leader of the most powerful country in the world.
Well,
that's democracy?
Well, he was a vice president at the time, to be fair.
No, now he's
he is.
He's the resident of the White House.
He's not even. I don't know how to describe it. So we saw the Disney thing, right? And whoever, did you see the and they saying they are powerful enough that they don't even care about 30% drop in the Bud Light sales. Are they basically sacrificing their brands for
maybe some of them pushing the agenda? Yeah. You know, it's give up a few now to make more later. Obviously.
So this was sort of like a risk normalizing thing. Is it the same? Remember we played the video with Celine Dion promoting her, non-binary or whatever gender fluid clothing label for children. Your children don't belong to you, she said. Remember? Let them choose the...
let them choose what?
Yeah, let them choose to be whatever they want to be, right?
Yeah.
Boy, girl, etc. So also, it's not even though the sales are dropping, they're still doubling down. So the command from the top down coming down, no, you have to double down. Even though your sales are failing and your company is... By the way, if this company crashes, and you've seen plenty on videos on TikTok and YouTube, how it affects everyone. It doesn't just affect beer drinkers. It affects distributors. It affects the people working in the factories. It affects the delivery man. It affects the marketing man. It affects, salespeople. It affects in their families and their well-being. And it's a humongous company, right? You know how Americans love their Bud Light. Well, before this stuff.
It's the MO of the empire, champ. It's the modus operandi, which is in reality here in the West, it's become the Marxist operandi. And you see, this is what's creating this capitalism that I talk about instead of real open market price discovery capitalism. That's what truly made the West the greatest country in the world to live.
And so Bud Light donates $200,000 to support LGBTQ plus businesses and boycott. So they continue to. So even though, is it just like, okay, screw it, we went all in, we might as well stick with it, or it's like like we said, it's the demolition, right, of Building 7.
Yeah, we saw it a couple of years ago with the toxic masculinity from Gillette. Remember, that was a turning point for that company. Then you had this Dylan Mulvaney guy who thinks he's a girl working for Nike as a model for sports bras and tight shorts and stuff like that. This, I don't know, sacrifice, I don't know, at the altar, I don't know, for the demons, I don't know, but it sounds totally illogical. It's not how you build a corporation.
That's how you destroy it.
Yeah.
Well, LGBTQ radicals sent target bomb threats after Pride Month merchandise pullback.
That could be a way for the left to play like the victim card. What do you think? It sounds something
or it's
like
straight
that,
up bullying, right? Or it's the same thing with BLM and all that stuff that happened, right? So LGBTQ radicals reportedly deluged Target with the bomb threats and the retaliation for the retail giant pulling back on some of its Pride Month merchandise after significant backlash. And we played this video of this actress whose name I don't remember anymore. It doesn't matter, that she was complaining that her gender fluid child wasn't celebrated anymore. And how upset she was that she's not even going to bring him to the Target. So the bomb threats were allegedly made against several Target stores in at least 3 states, Utah, Pennsylvania, Ohio. And that's cross-border. That's federal charges. That you go to jail for a long time if you do that. In email to one Cleveland store that Cleveland 19 News reviewed, indicated that the radical LGBTQ activists may have been behind the threats. What is the radical LGBTQ activist?
I don't know. Maybe they're being funded by the psychiatry and the pharmaceutical companies.
This is the statement. Target is full of cowards who turned their back on LGBTQ community and decided to cater to homophobic right-wing redneck bigots who protested and vandalized this store. Right? So what happened when BLM protested and vandalized half of America and burned it to the ashes?
Nothing to see here. Yeah,
nothing to see here.
No, that's not important.
By the way, that was not economic terrorism.
Oh yes.
But to reject this ideology is economic terrorism. Look at this. No, this is CNN. I'm not making this up.
When Target caves into this, then it says that the moment you threaten the employees of even a very large corporation, you get to control its policies. This is economic terrorism, literally terrorism, creating fear among the workers and forcing the...
All right.
Champ,
well,
when you own a big company like that, providing a product or a service, you have to appease your target market. That's the majority of your customers.
I like
They're
how
the
you
ones
work the target in it.
Yeah, I just slipped that in. But I mean, that's what you have to do to generate, sales and then operate at a certain level to generate margins. It's normal. So when you come out with something that purposely, directly hammers your sales, you have to ask, who's running these corporations? Or like, this is...
Well, we just showed it.
Business 101.
There was WF, with the in conglomeration with 7 or now 14 companies that own businesses like this. So it trickles from the top down. But what's interesting, what he's saying is how upset he is about cancel culture in reverse. He's talking about being terrorized to have an opinion or value that is different from yours.
So now he knows how the right feels all the time now, when everybody's canceled for giving a different point of view, which is, that point of view is much more closer to reality, not this fictitious reality or perception reality they want everybody to believe in.
Well, political correctness gone mad, right? That's what it is. So this guy, let's finish him.
Corporations to sell the things you want and not sell the things you don't. So
okay.
When Target caves in...
Okay, so that's reach. Do you remember not so long ago, by the way, they won. Remember the cake company that refused to make a cake for gays?
Yeah, it was like a newlywed cake.
Or whatever. Doesn't matter.
A marriage cake.
They said we're a Christian company. We cannot do this. It goes against our values.
Yeah, well, just move on to somebody else who is going to make
What I'm saying is, isn't it the same thing?
Well, yeah, for these companies that do this, you know what? The other companies who don't do that saying, oh, our sales are going up. Like, there are other light beer corporations out there that are scoring on this.
So if you put glasses like that block on TV, you'll probably be the same thing, right? That's the double standard to the max. Look at his nice hair. You think he is actually LGBTQ member? Probably, even by default, even if he's not one of them. Maybe he's them without being one of them. They, them. Yeah. Again, brothers and sisters, we're not bigots here. We're not here to discriminate against your life choices. You are more than welcome to be whatever you want to be. This is your creation, and this is the life choices that you make. But doesn't mean everybody has to agree with your life choices.
Yeah, and don't push it on everybody else. If that's your calling, good on to you. If this is your perception of the reason you were put on this earth, then hey, you do what you want to do. That I'm a person, freedom of choice. You do that. But Don't try and push your ideologies
On
on
my
everybody
children,
else.
especially my
On
children.
your children and on other people. You know, where other people, a lot of people will just turn away or they'll say negative things in their head. Well, other people will just look at, because they're not going to feel threatened, you know. Person like you or I, we're not going to feel threatened. It's okay, man. If this what resonates within you, good on to you. You know, what can I say? But it doesn't resonate too well within me. But hey, I'm allowed my freedom of choice. You know, for every action, there's a reaction. I'm allowed to react my way to your action. I may find it a little bizarre, odd, maybe a little bit mentally unstable. But that's okay. I mean, you keep doing your thing. I'll keep doing my thing. And everybody else keep doing their thing. That's all. Cool.
We can do the mentally unstable thing one more time. Just to remind people.
In 2 days, guess what's gonna happen, bitch?
She looks, or whatever, they, them, looks a little dangerous to they themselves.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. And
if
you call this out, then you're some sort of phobic. By the way, I'm not scared of this thing, and I'm not scared to say my opinion. And those things need to be said out loud at this point. But no hatred, just...
No, that person there that looks like it's full of hatred.
Yeah, that person full of hatred. Yeah. There's a solution for people like this. There's a solution for people like us, too. Did you know about that? Did you know that there's people marrying themselves? It's an actual thing.
Sologamy. You have polygamy, you have misogyny, monogamy, and I don't know, people marrying themselves. You know, when you showed me this pre-show and I was looking, I say, well, no wonder they have to marry themselves. I don't see a lot of people, lining up to wipe these ones up there. That's and it's the women who are marrying themselves.
Well, the one on the left is all right.
Yeah, maybe until it starts talking.
Anyway, I mean, to each their own. Maybe somebody find the third one from the left very attractive and beautiful. It's, I don't know. Again, this is not something I can judge. People, like you said, people have different life choices. But brothers and sisters, you can also choose to marry yourself if you. This is the CNN article. And this is what they're pushing. So yeah, if you CNN is part of your viewership, weekly, daily viewership, this is one of the choices are presented to you.
Champ, if you marry yourself and you start talking to someone else that you're interested in, are you fooling around on yourself?
100%.
And then what happens when you have to divorce yourself? Who's going to pay and who's going to take?
Well, okay. I have an answer for that. So, like, if you narcissist, you're probably also partially bipolar. You have two personalities within you. So, and maybe if you have a horoscope thing, astrology, and you maybe Gemini, so you probably have multiple personalities according to that as well. So when you divorce yourself, one personality of you receives something from the other personality of you. So have two separate bank accounts and make sure the other person within you does not know about that bank account. Hide it.
Actually, maybe they should have three personal bank accounts. One for me, one for myself, and one for I. Because you never know. You can't trust yourself, right?
Yeah, well, brothers and sisters, but there's one thing you can trust that is going to stay the same throughout all times, and that's the scripture. If you read your Bible, especially Isaiah, and this is the homework for today, go and read your Isaiah. And Isaiah was a prophet and we talk about him all the time. He prophesies the coming of Babylon. And basically, we're living in a modern day Babylon right now, where Babylon is coming to destroy you all from within. And it's not, although in the next episode or other episodes, we'll always cover this war in Ukraine that escalating to a nuclear war. And that may be the way of destruction if you don't stop your government right now, industrial military complex. I do not know if you can, but let's pray that we can. And we'll see you on the next one.